Have you ever wondered why certain people seem to come into your life at precisely the right moment? Have you felt that some meetings were just meant to happen? As though woven into the fabric of your life story? It's as if each encounter, whether brief or profound, carries a purpose, a lesson, or perhaps even a shift in the direction of your life. Imagine if every person you meet, every conversation you have, is part of a greater plan, a plan that guides you toward understanding not only others but also yourself. Life is filled with countless interactions, many of which we barely pause to consider. Yet, if we look closer, we might start to see that each connection holds a hidden message or lesson. This video invites you on a journey to uncover the meaning behind these encounters and how they shape our lives, often in ways we don't immediately recognize. Together, let's explore how understanding the. Think about it, what if every smile from a stranger, every new friendship, and even every difficult relationship holds within it something essential? Something just for you? What if the people who challenge you are teaching you patience, resilience, or compassion? What if those who support you are reminding you of your own strengths? And what if those who cross paths with you just once, in fleeting moments, are offering glimpses into other ways of seeing the world? Today, we'll dive into this idea, one deeply rooted in ancient wisdom, that people don't come into our lives by chance. In Buddhism, it's often said that certain meetings are predestined. The people we encounter may be there to reflect parts of ourselves back to us, to help us grow, or to guide us toward something greater. They might come into our lives to share knowledge, challenge our beliefs, or simply to walk beside us for a while on our journey. A personal story to illustrate this idea. Let me share a personal experience with you. A story of a chance meeting that ended up altering my perspective in profound ways. Once, while attending a workshop, I found myself sitting next to a stranger. Our conversation began as polite small talk, the type you forget about moments later. But as we continued to speak, something shifted. This person, who I had never met before and likely wouldn't meet again, started sharing insights and perspectives that resonated deeply. They offered a new way of seeing things, ideas that I hadn't considered, but that seemed to address exactly what I needed at that moment in my life. Looking back now, it feels as if our paths crossed for a reason. It wasn't just a coincidence. It was as if life itself had placed this person next to me to help me see things in a new light. And that moment led me to wonder, how many other encounters in my life had a purpose I hadn't recognized? Transition to the main content. And this brings us to a crucial idea I want to share with you today. What if every meeting holds meaning? This video isn't just about the act of meeting people, it's about understanding the deeper reasons and hidden messages behind those meetings. We're going to explore the value of every relationship, whether brief or long-lasting, joyful or challenging. We'll look at how each connection can be a part of our journey toward understanding, growth, and self-discovery. I invite you to stay with me to the end as we unpack this concept. Together, we'll look at the wisdom behind our relationships, exploring why some people seem to enter our lives at the perfect time, and how even the most challenging encounters can hold the greatest potential for growth. This journey is about seeing life through a different lens, one where every person we meet has something valuable to offer us, setting the tone for exploration. As we begin this journey, I encourage you to keep an open mind. Think back to the people who have come and gone in your life, from old friends to chance encounters. Reflect on what they might have taught you, how they may have influenced you, even in subtle ways. Perhaps some of these connections inspired you, while others tested you. This reflection isn't just about remembering people. It's about understanding the ways these connections have shaped you, guided you, and even changed you. By the end of this video, my hope is that you'll see each relationship, past and present, through a new perspective. You'll find meaning in encounters you once thought were insignificant. And you may even feel inspired to approach future interactions with greater curiosity and openness. Every person in your life is part of your journey, and each of them brings with them a unique piece of wisdom. If only we take the time to look closely and listen deeply. So, let's dive into this exploration together. Let's discover how understanding the purpose behind each relationship can transform the way we see the world and ourselves. Stay with me, and let's find the hidden meaning in every connection, every smile, every goodbye, and every hello. The journey begins here. The mystery of predestined encounters. Have you ever felt a certain connection with someone you've just met? Like they were meant to cross your path? Perhaps it was a friend who appeared during a difficult time, or a stranger whose words lingered with you long after they were spoken. There's a profound and beautiful belief in Buddhism that these moments are far from random, that the people who enter our lives are often there with a purpose. To guide us, to challenge us, or simply to walk beside us when we need it most. Imagine for a moment that life has woven a complex tapestry, and each person we meet is a thread in that design. Each meeting, each interaction, whether brief or lasting, is intentional, holding a meaning that may only become clear with time. This perspective invites us to consider the possibility that the people we encounter might be a part of our story in ways we cannot yet see. They may hold lessons for us, offer us direction, or even challenge us to grow in ways we hadn't anticipated. We often speak about these encounters as coincidences. But what if they were actually synchronistic events? Moments orchestrated by the universe to lead us to greater self-awareness? The idea of predestined encounters suggests that every person we meet is a potential teacher, bringing with them a lesson or an insight uniquely suited for our journey. Embracing this viewpoint can be transformative, opening our eyes to the hidden meanings and opportunities for growth that these relationships offer. Personal insight. An unexpected mentor. Reflecting on my own experiences, I remember a chance meeting that left an indelible mark on my life. Years ago, I attended a professional conference with no particular expectations. I was there to listen, to learn, and to meet people, as anyone in my field might do. But in the course of that day, I met someone who would forever change the trajectory of my career. He was seated beside me, and we struck up a conversation over a shared interest. As we spoke, I found myself drawn to his perspective, the way he described his work and life choices. He wasn't simply sharing ideas, he was showing me a different path, one I hadn't even considered. I left that conversation feeling inspired and motivated in a way I hadn't felt in years. What started as a simple exchange became a turning point, nudging me toward a career path that would bring me fulfillment and purpose. At the time, I didn't realize how significant that interaction was. But looking back now, it seems almost as though it was meant to be, as though this mentor had entered my life at precisely the right moment to guide me forward. Encounters like these remind us that some meetings truly are destined to shape us, to reveal possibilities that we hadn't even known existed. Example story: a teacher's impact on a struggling student. This concept of predestined encounters is echoed in countless stories of people whose lives have been forever altered by meeting someone at just the right moment. One story that comes to mind is about a young woman I know, who was struggling deeply in her studies and questioning her ability to succeed. She was discouraged, almost ready to give up, when one day, a teacher noticed her struggling. This teacher went beyond the call of duty to support her, giving her guidance and encouragement that made all the difference. That teacher's attention, kindness, and belief in her potential transformed her outlook and ultimately her life. Their connection blossomed into a mentorship that provided her with the tools and confidence she needed to persevere. Today, she looks back on that chance meeting with immense gratitude, recognizing it as a turning point that brought her the support she desperately needed at that time. It's as if the universe knew she needed guidance and placed that teacher in her path precisely when she was ready to receive it. The power of recognizing purpose in every encounter. When we start to see these encounters as part of a larger, purposeful design, our perspective shifts. Suddenly, every person we meet, every relationship we form, takes on a new significance. Tease as though the universe is inviting us to pay attention, to learn, and to grow from each experience. From the friend who helps us through a crisis to the stranger whose advice lingers with us. These meetings are woven into our lives for a reason. So, what if we embraced this perspective in our daily lives? What if we approached each person as someone who might be here to teach us something? To open our eyes to a new way of thinking? Or to guide us through a challenge? When we're open to the idea that there are no accidents, that every meeting has a purpose, we start to live with greater awareness and gratitude. We become more attentive to the lessons life offers through the people who cross our paths. Reflecting on your own predestined encounters, I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on your own life. Think about the people who have entered your world at significant moments. Is there someone whose words or presence changed you, even in a small way? Perhaps a friend who encouraged you to pursue a dream, or a mentor who offered guidance during a difficult period. Reflecting on these encounters can reveal a wealth of insight, helping us see how deeply our lives are shaped by the connections we make. When we understand that some meetings are meant to be, we become more open to the mystery of life, more willing to trust that there is a purpose to each relationship. This perspective enriches our journey, reminding us to value each person we meet and to approach every interaction with curiosity and respect. Each encounter holds the potential to be life-changing, if only we are willing to see it. As we continue this exploration, remember that the people you meet today could be the teachers, friends, or supporters you'll need tomorrow. Stay open, stay curious, and trust that the universe has a way of bringing us exactly what we need, often through the most unexpected people. Finding value in every relationship. Have you ever paused to think about the significance of the people who pass through your life, whether they stay for years or only a moment? Every relationship, no matter how brief or enduring, carries within it a potential lesson. It might teach us patience when we least expect it, offer a reminder of kindness through a simple gesture, or deepen our empathy in the face of differences. Every encounter, every interaction, holds something valuable, waiting to be recognized. Imagine, for a moment, that each person we meet has something unique to offer us, and that we, too, offer something to them. In Buddhist teachings, this idea is foundational. Every interaction is seen as an opportunity to grow, to understand ourselves, and to deepen our compassion for others. No matter how fleeting, each connection enriches our lives in ways we may not immediately realize. When we start to look at our relationships through this lens, even the simplest of exchanges take on new meaning. Relatable story, a moment of connection with a stranger. I remember a day not long ago when I was standing in line at a coffee shop, lost in my own thoughts. A stranger next to me struck up a conversation, commenting on the weather and sharing a little story about his morning. At first, it felt like a casual chat, something I'd forget as soon as I left. But as we spoke, he shared a story about his family and how he finds joy in the small moments with them. Despite a busy and sometimes challenging life, I was struck by his simple yet profound appreciation for the everyday. And as I left the coffee shop, I found myself thinking more deeply about how I approach my own life. That short conversation changed my day. It reminded me to slow down, to appreciate the small things I often overlook. Here was a stranger who, in a few moments, had shifted my perspective, someone I may never meet again, yet who left a lasting impression on me. It was a powerful reminder that even the smallest interactions can have a big impact, and that every person we meet has the potential to teach us something meaningful, if we're open to it. Buddhist perspective, every encounter as an opportunity for growth. In Buddhism, relationships are viewed as mirrors that reflect back aspects of ourselves, inviting us to grow. This perspective suggests that each person we meet holds up a mirror, showing us qualities we admire, or perhaps those we need to work on within ourselves. The teachings encourage us to approach every interaction with an open heart and mind, recognizing the unique value that each person brings into our lives. For instance, someone who tests our patience may be showing us the areas where we need to develop greater understanding. A person who is generous and kind might inspire us to be more giving in our own lives. And even those who seem challenging or difficult can teach us resilience and compassion. This perspective shifts how we see our interactions, encouraging us to look for the lessons and growth opportunities within every relationship. No matter how small or brief it may seem, finding hidden value in every connection. Often, we overlook the potential meaning in casual encounters, thinking of them as insignificant or forgettable. But when we begin to approach each interaction with curiosity, we start to see the hidden value in even the most ordinary conversations. A quick chat with a colleague, a friendly greeting from a neighbor, or even a shared smile with a stranger on a busy street, all of these moments can teach us something if we allow ourselves to be present and attentive. Take, for example, the kindness of a stranger who holds the door open for you or offers a genuine smile. It may seem like a small act, but that gesture can serve as a reminder of the kindness and connection we share with others, even those we don't know. These little moments of connection, when noticed and appreciated, can shift our perspective and inspire us to bring more positivity and empathy into our interactions with others. Reflection prompt: considering unexpected impacts. I'd like to invite you to think about a person who has impacted your life in an unexpected way. Perhaps it was someone you only met briefly, a stranger, a colleague, or a friend you hadn't known for long. What did that interaction teach you? How did it shape your perspective or influence your actions? By taking a moment to reflect on these encounters, we allow ourselves to recognize the meaningful role that each person plays in our journey. This reflection isn't just about acknowledging the lessons we've learned. It's about understanding the richness of human connection and the countless ways we are shaped by the people we meet. Even in passing, embracing the value in every relationship. When we embrace the idea that every relationship has something to offer, our outlook on life changes. We start to see people not just as individuals passing by, but as valuable parts of our experience. This mindset helps us become more attentive to the lessons life offers us through others, making each interaction an opportunity for growth, understanding, and connection. Imagine how your day would change if you approached each person you meet with this sense of curiosity and openness. How might your perspective on life deepen if you viewed every relationship, no matter how small, as a chance to learn and grow? When we begin to see life in this way, we enrich not only our own journey but also the lives of those around us. As we continue this exploration, remember that every relationship, every fleeting interaction, holds a lesson. Each person you meet is part of the mosaic of your life, contributing in ways that may not be immediately clear. By recognizing the value in these connections, we find greater meaning in our everyday lives, transforming ordinary moments into opportunities for understanding, growth, and compassion. The web of interconnectedness. Have you ever considered how your smallest actions, thoughts, and words might impact the world around you? In our busy lives, we often forget how deeply connected we are to everyone and everything. But Buddhism offers a powerful concept called interconnectedness, a reminder that we are all threads woven into the same fabric of existence. Each action, no matter how small, creates ripples that extend far beyond what we can see. Imagine, for a moment, that every kind gesture, every compassionate thought, every bit of help you offer is like dropping a pebble into a pond. The ripples move outward, touching the lives of others in ways we may never witness. This interconnectedness isn't limited to people, it extends to animals, nature, and even the spaces we inhabit. It's a gentle yet profound idea that reminds us of our role in something much larger than ourselves. And when we start to live with an awareness of these connections, we become more mindful of the impact we have on the world and the lives we touch. Example story: how kindness can spread. I remember a story that beautifully illustrates this concept. In my community, There was a person who, every morning, would leave small notes of encouragement on park benches, bus stops, and even random doorsteps. The messages were simple: you are loved. Today is a new beginning. Believe in yourself. Initially, people were curious but unsure what to make of these notes. But soon, others began to join in, leaving their own messages and sharing stories of how those little words brightened their day. One by one, people started contributing to this movement of kindness. Soon, the entire community felt different, lighter, more connected, and more compassionate. Neighbors who had hardly spoken before were now connecting over these notes, and strangers felt inspired to share kindness in their own ways. All of this began with one person's simple act, a small gesture that created a wave of positivity and connection. This is the beauty of interconnectedness. Our actions, no matter how modest, have the potential to spark change in ways we may never fully understand. Personal reflection: how an act of kindness changed my perspective. This story reminds me of a time when someone's kindness left a lasting impact on me. I was having a rough day, feeling overwhelmed and distracted, when a stranger noticed and offered a few words of encouragement. They didn't know my struggles, but their words were exactly what I needed to hear. That small act lifted my spirits and reminded me of the importance of empathy. Inspired, I decided to pay it forward. Later that day, I reached out to a friend who had been going through a hard time, offering support and kindness in the same way that stranger had done for me. That chain of kindness continued, as my friend later shared with me how they, too, felt inspired to reach out to someone else in need. What began as a simple interaction rippled outward, creating a series of positive connections. This experience taught me how even the smallest gestures of kindness can make a difference, and how one person's compassion can inspire others to act similarly. The ripple effect: how every thought, word, and action matters. Buddhist teachings emphasize that every thought, word, and action has an impact. When we approach life with compassion, positivity, and mindfulness, we contribute to a web of kindness and understanding that strengthens us all. Each of us has the power to influence this web in a meaningful way, not only through large acts but through everyday moments. When we smile at a stranger, help a friend, or even offer a simple word of encouragement, we become part of a chain of goodness that extends far beyond ourselves. Imagine how your day, and the days of those around you, might change if we all approached each moment with this sense of interconnectedness. The way we speak, listen, and respond has the potential to inspire, comfort, and uplift others. And when we are mindful of this, we start to realize that every moment holds an opportunity to bring a little more light into the world. A challenge for you: try one small act of kindness today. Today, I invite you to try one small act of kindness. It could be as simple as a kind word to a coworker, a smile to a passerby, or a moment of active listening with someone you care about. Notice how this small action affects those around you, and observe if it inspires them to act with kindness in return. In this way, you contribute to the web of interconnectedness, helping to create a ripple of positivity that extends far beyond what you can see. When we start to live with an awareness of this interconnected web, we understand that our lives are part of something much larger. Each of us has the potential to make a difference, to bring light into someone else's world, and to play a part in building a more compassionate, connected community. Let's embrace this idea of interconnectedness, recognizing that each of us is a vital thread in the fabric of life. Together, we can weave a world where kindness, empathy, and understanding flow freely. Embracing compassion in relationships. Have you ever felt the difference between simply sympathizing with someone and truly understanding their pain? Compassion goes beyond sympathy or pity. It's a deep, heartfelt response to another's suffering, coupled with a genuine wish to ease it. In many ways, compassion is the cornerstone of strong relationships, the bridge that connects us with others on a level that transcends words. It's not just about seeing someone's pain, it's about stepping into their world, feeling what they feel, and responding in a way that offers comfort and understanding. In our fast-paced lives, it's easy to overlook compassion or reduce it to quick words of support. But true compassion requires presence, patience, and a willingness to look beyond our own needs. When we bring compassion into our relationships, we create bonds built on trust, respect, and deep emotional connection. This approach fosters understanding, helping us navigate even the most challenging relationships with patience and empathy. Compassion doesn't just strengthen our relationships, it transforms them, turning ordinary connections into profound partnerships that help both people grow. Example story: compassion in a difficult family relationship. Let me share a personal story that illustrates how compassion can change a relationship. I once found myself in conflict with a close family member. We were at odds over a disagreement that seemed trivial on the surface but grew tense over time. I felt hurt and misunderstood, and I knew they felt the same. At first, I tried to argue my point, hoping they would eventually see things from my perspective. But that only seemed to deepen the divide between us. One day, I decided to try something different. Instead of defending my stance, I took a step back and chose to simply listen, without interrupting or planning my response. As I listened, I began to understand the pain and frustration behind their words. I could feel the hurt they were carrying, and in that moment, my perspective shifted. I wasn't just hearing their side of the story, I was feeling their pain with them. By embracing compassion, I found a new patience and understanding that hadn't been there before. I responded with empathy rather than defensiveness. And slowly, our relationship began to heal. This experience taught me that compassion isn't just an act of kindness, it's an act of courage. A willingness to set aside our own perspective and step into someone else's world. Practical tips: simple ways to practice compassion. Cultivating compassion doesn't require grand gestures, it can be practiced in small, consistent ways each day. Here are some simple but powerful ways to bring compassion into your relationships. Active listening. Truly listening to someone without interrupting or thinking about how you'll respond is one of the most compassionate things you can do. Let the other person feel heard and valued by focusing fully on what they're saying and absorbing their words. Non-judgmental understanding. Approach others with an open mind, free from judgment. This allows you to accept them as they are, even if you don't fully understand or agree with their choices. Compassion thrives in a space of acceptance, where people feel safe to express themselves. Offering help without expecting anything in return. Compassionate actions are often selfless. Whether it's lending a hand, offering a kind word, or being present during a tough time, these gestures are most meaningful when given without expectation of something in return. Acknowledging emotions. Let the people in your life know that it's okay to feel how they feel. Whether they're happy, sad, frustrated, or afraid. Validating their emotions shows that you respect their experience and are there to support them. Patience and presence. Compassion often requires patience, especially in relationships where conflict may be present. Allow yourself to be fully present, without rushing to fix things or impose your viewpoint. Sometimes, being there is enough. These practices may seem simple, but they have the power to bring depth and warmth into your relationships. Compassion doesn't need to be complicated, it's about showing up, paying attention, and responding with care. The ripple effect of compassion. How small acts create lasting change. When we embrace compassion, we create a ripple effect that extends far beyond our immediate interactions. Compassion strengthens connections, fosters trust, and encourages others to act with kindness in return. One compassionate action can inspire others to do the same, spreading positivity through our communities and beyond. Imagine the impact if everyone in your life practiced just a little more compassion each day. Conflicts would soften, misunderstandings would dissolve, and relationships would grow stronger. Each act of compassion, no matter how small, contributes to a world that is more connected, understanding, and resilient. Takeaway: bringing compassion into your daily life. I encourage you to bring compassion into your daily interactions, whether it's with family, friends, co-workers, or even strangers. Try approaching each person with an open heart and a willingness to understand. Remember, compassion is not about pity, it's about empathy, connection, and a sincere desire to ease the burdens of others. Today, make it a goal to practice one act of compassion. Listen to someone without interrupting, offer help where it's needed, or simply take a moment to acknowledge and validate someone's feelings. Notice how it changes your relationship with them and how it feels within yourself. In the end, compassion is a gift that benefits everyone involved. It enriches our lives, deepens our relationships, and helps us build a world where understanding and kindness prevail. Let's embrace compassion as a guiding force in our relationships, creating bonds that uplift, heal, and inspire. The role of mindfulness in deepening bonds. Have you ever been in a conversation where, even though words were exchanged, you left feeling as though nothing meaningful had been shared? In our busy, distraction-filled lives, it's common to listen half-heartedly, already planning our response or glancing at our phones. Yet, imagine how much richer our relationships could be if we truly showed up, fully present, in each moment of connection. Mindfulness offers us this gift. It invites us to slow down, to be fully attentive, and to engage deeply with those around us. Mindfulness is more than just a technique. It's a way of being that strengthens our bonds with others. When we bring mindfulness into our interactions, we create a space where understanding and empathy naturally flourish. This presence allows us to connect not only with others' words but with their emotions and intentions. In doing so, we prevent misunderstandings, ease tensions, and deepen the quality of our relationships. Mindfulness reminds us that real connection isn't about simply hearing words but about embracing the full experience of being with someone in that moment. Example story: how mindful listening turned a simple chat into a meaningful moment. Let me share a personal story that illustrates how mindfulness can transform even the simplest conversation. One evening, I met up with a friend I hadn't seen in a while. As we sat down to chat, I noticed my mind wandering, thinking about work, errands, and other responsibilities. But then, I decided to consciously bring my full attention to our conversation. I listened without interrupting, without planning my response. I noticed her expressions, the pauses in her voice, and the subtle emotions she was trying to convey. To my surprise, the conversation shifted. She began sharing things she hadn't intended to, expressing feelings and fears she hadn't spoken about before. What started as a light-hearted catch-up turned into a profound, vulnerable exchange. I realized that simply being present had given her the space to open up, to feel heard and understood. This moment stayed with me, a reminder of how the quality of our attention can deepen and transform our relationships. Practical advice: steps for practicing mindfulness in conversations. Mindfulness doesn't require hours of meditation or complex practices. It's something we can bring into our daily lives in small but powerful ways, especially in our interactions with others. Here are a few simple tips to help you incorporate mindfulness into your conversations. Make eye contact. Eye contact signals to the other person that they have your full attention. It helps you stay grounded in the present moment and creates a stronger sense of connection. Listen fully. Avoid planning your response or interrupting. Instead, focus entirely on what the other person is saying. Notice their tone, their body language, and any underlying emotions they might be expressing. Pause before responding. Take a brief pause before you respond. This not only gives you time to process what's been said, but it also shows respect and allows the conversation to flow more naturally. Avoid distractions. Put away your phone. Turn off notifications, and resist the urge to multitask. Being fully present means dedicating your attention to the person in front of you without interruptions. Practice patience. Mindfulness often requires patience, especially if the other person is expressing difficult emotions or if you disagree with their viewpoint. Allow yourself to be with them without judgment, focusing on understanding rather than reacting. These practices may seem small, but they can make a significant difference in the quality of your interactions. By bringing mindfulness into your conversations, you not only show respect for others but also create deeper, more meaningful connections. Reflection prompt: bringing mindfulness into one conversation today. I'd like to challenge you to bring mindfulness into one conversation today. Whether it's with a family member, friend, or colleague, try being fully present, free of distractions, and notice how it changes the interaction. Do you feel more connected? Does the other person open up more easily? Mindfulness allows us to experience each moment with greater clarity, empathy, and presence, helping us to build relationships that are truly meaningful. In the end, mindfulness in relationships is about creating a space of acceptance and understanding. It reminds us that every interaction is an opportunity to connect on a deeper level, to understand, and to be understood. So let's bring this mindful awareness into our daily lives, one conversation at a time, and see how it transforms the bonds we share. Have you ever noticed how certain relationships seem to reveal parts of yourself you weren't fully aware of? Sometimes, it's only when we're with others that we see our own strengths, vulnerabilities, or even the areas where we still need to grow. In many ways, relationships act as mirrors, reflecting back aspects of ourselves that might otherwise remain hidden. Through each interaction, whether joyful, challenging, or unexpected, we are given opportunities for self-discovery and growth. This idea may sound simple, but its impact can be profound. Imagine every relationship in your life, from close friends and family members to brief encounters, as a unique mirror. Each one offers a different reflection, showing us not only who we are but also who we have the potential to become. The journey of self-discovery doesn't happen in isolation. It unfolds through the people who walk alongside us, helping us see ourselves more clearly. Example story: a moment of realization through a loved one. Let me share a personal experience that transformed how I viewed myself. A few years ago, I was talking to a close friend about a work challenge I was facing. I was expressing my frustration and self-doubt, convinced that I wasn't capable of handling the situation. My friend listened patiently and then said something that caught me off guard. "You don't realize how resilient you are, do you? I've seen you overcome things much harder than this." In that moment, I saw myself through her eyes. Her words helped me realize that I often underestimated my own strength and resilience. It was a quality I hadn't fully acknowledged in myself, but hearing it from someone who knew me well gave me a new perspective. That realization encouraged me to approach challenges with greater confidence, knowing that I had the inner strength to handle them. This experience taught me that sometimes it takes someone else's perspective to help us see our true potential. Through her, I discovered a part of myself that had always been there, just waiting to be recognized. How relationships reveal our strengths and insecurities. Relationships don't just reveal our strengths, they also bring to light our insecurities, fears, and areas where we may need to grow. Think about a time when you felt triggered by someone's actions or words. Often, these moments reflect back something within ourselves that needs attention. Perhaps it's a past wound, an unresolved issue, or a fear that we haven't fully addressed. Rather than seeing these moments as negative, we can view them as opportunities for self-discovery and healing. For example, a family member's criticism might reveal a sensitivity we didn't know we had, prompting us to work on building self-confidence. A friend's encouragement might highlight a talent we haven't fully embraced, inspiring us to pursue our passions. Each relationship brings with it a chance to explore our inner world, to better understand what drives us, and to see where we might want to grow. Reflection prompt: discovering ourselves through others. I'd like to invite you to reflect on a recent interaction that felt meaningful. Perhaps it was a conversation that left a lasting impression or a disagreement that stirred strong emotions. What did this interaction reveal about you? Did it show you a strength you hadn't fully appreciated? Or perhaps an insecurity that still needs healing? By reflecting on these experiences, we begin to uncover the hidden aspects of ourselves and gain greater clarity about who we are. Embracing self-discovery as a lifelong journey. Self-discovery is not a destination, it's an ongoing journey, enriched by every relationship and experience we encounter. Each person we meet, whether they stay in our lives for a moment or a lifetime, plays a role in helping us understand ourselves more deeply. They bring out different facets of our personality, helping us see both our strengths and our areas for growth. As you continue on this journey, remember to approach each relationship with an open heart and mind. Allow yourself to see the lessons within each interaction, and be willing to explore what they reveal about you. Through this practice, we not only deepen our relationships but also come to know ourselves in ways we never thought possible. So let's embrace the people in our lives as teachers, guides, and reflections of our own journey. Let's see each interaction as a chance to grow, to learn, and to uncover the full, complex person we are continually becoming. Life as a continuous learning journey. Have you ever wondered if every moment, every experience, whether joyful or difficult, might be there to teach you something valuable? In Buddhism, life is often seen as an endless series of lessons. Every encounter, every challenge, and every joy carries a piece of wisdom meant just for you. Something that shapes who you are and who you are becoming. This perspective invites us to view life not as a path to a final destination, but as a journey filled with opportunities to learn, to grow, and to understand ourselves and the world a little better each day. Imagine for a moment that each experience, no matter how small, is a page in a book you're writing. Some pages might be filled with happiness and excitement, while others might hold pain or uncertainty. Yet, every page contributes to the story, adding depth, wisdom, and perspective. When we embrace life as a continuous learning journey, we start to see the value in both the highs and the lows. Instead of resisting difficult moments, we welcome them as teachers, knowing that each one has something essential to offer us. Example story: a difficult experience that became a source of growth. I remember a particularly challenging period in my life that changed the way I approached adversity. A few years ago, I went through a time of great personal and professional uncertainty. I felt lost, unsure of the direction I was heading in, and weighed down by the fear of failure. For weeks, I questioned myself, wondering if I was capable of overcoming these challenges. But as I slowly navigated through that period, I started to realize something powerful. Each struggle was teaching me resilience, patience, and the importance of self-trust. Looking back now, I see that the lessons I gained during that time have become some of my greatest strengths. Though painful, that experience taught me that setbacks can be transformative, revealing inner resources I hadn't known were there. It helped me grow in ways I never anticipated, and it's a reminder that sometimes our greatest struggles lead us to our most profound growth. Embracing every experience as a lesson. When we view life through this lens, we start to see challenges as opportunities for growth. Each experience, especially the difficult ones, pushes us to look within, to discover new strengths, and to gain wisdom that we can carry forward. We learn patience when things don't go as planned, empathy through our relationships with others, and resilience when we face hardships. In Buddhism, life is seen as a teacher, guiding us through each experience, whether pleasant or painful, with lessons that help us grow, rather than trying to avoid difficulties or dwell on past regrets. We're encouraged to embrace each moment as it comes, knowing it has a purpose. This way of seeing the world transforms how we respond to life's ups and downs. allowing us to move forward with greater peace and understanding. Viewer takeaway: embracing highs and lows as essential parts of the journey. I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on your own life journey. Think about the experiences that have shaped you the most. Was there a difficult time that taught you something meaningful, or a joyful moment that deepened your appreciation for life? Each of these experiences adds richness to our journey, helping us grow wiser and more resilient with each step. Let's embrace both the highs and lows as essential parts of our path. Let's see every experience, even the challenging ones, as an opportunity to learn something valuable. By doing so, we can approach life with a sense of openness and gratitude, knowing that each moment is a chance to grow. Together, let's walk this continuous learning journey, welcoming each lesson as it unfolds, and trusting that every experience, no matter how it feels in the moment, is helping us become the best version of ourselves. Spiritual growth through connection and reflection. Have you ever felt that the journey of understanding yourself and finding peace doesn't end with just looking inward? In Buddhism, spiritual growth is seen not only as a path toward inner tranquility but as a way of connecting with the world around us, using our own growth to positively influence others. This perspective reminds us that true spiritual growth is twofold. It involves nurturing the inner self while reaching out to create harmony and kindness in the lives of those we encounter. Imagine, for a moment, that each day offers opportunities for spiritual growth, not only in moments of solitude and reflection but in every interaction and connection we make. From simple conversations with friends to chance encounters with strangers, each interaction is a chance to learn more about ourselves and to extend the best parts of ourselves to others. In this way, spiritual growth becomes a shared journey, one in which we are constantly shaped by the people around us, just as we, in turn, help shape their paths. Relatable example: how a simple conversation sparked self-reflection. I remember a small yet impactful interaction that highlighted this interconnectedness for me. I was speaking with an acquaintance who, in passing, mentioned their struggles with self-doubt. As they spoke, I found myself empathizing deeply, and it dawned on me how universal these feelings are. Our conversation wasn't planned or profound, but it was honest and real. In that moment, I realized that their vulnerability was a mirror for my own insecurities I hadn't fully acknowledged. This simple exchange taught me about the strength that comes from shared understanding and connection. By being open and truly listening, I gained insight into my own inner struggles and was reminded of the importance of compassion. It was a small but powerful reminder that our spiritual journey is often shaped through the connections we make, each interaction guiding us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our shared humanity. The dual path of spiritual growth: inner reflection and outer action. Spiritual growth in the Buddhist sense isn't confined to personal meditation or solitary reflection. It's about finding balance between looking within and reaching out. Inner peace is a wonderful gift, but it gains greater meaning when we share it with others, bringing kindness, patience, and empathy into our relationships. When we practice this dual path, we not only elevate ourselves but also contribute to the spiritual well-being of those around us. Imagine the impact if every one of us brought this intention to our daily interactions. Every act of kindness, every moment of understanding, and each word spoken with empathy helps create a ripple of positive energy. This ripple can extend beyond us, inspiring others to do the same, and ultimately contributing to a more compassionate, peaceful world. Viewer takeaway: embrace connection as part of your spiritual journey. I encourage you to view each interaction, no matter how small, as part of your spiritual journey. Ask yourself how your words, thoughts, and actions can uplift and support those around you. Reflect on how your connections with others bring you closer to understanding yourself and to living in alignment with values of kindness and empathy. Let's approach our relationships not only as means of companionship but as opportunities to grow together. Through these connections, We find that spiritual growth is a shared path, one where each step forward brings light not only to our own lives but to the lives of those we touch. Accepting and growing through uncertainty. Have you ever felt lost or uncertain about what lies ahead? Life, with all its twists and turns, often leads us into the unknown. While this can be intimidating, learning to embrace uncertainty can open us to growth and resilience we never knew we had. In Buddhism, there is a gentle reminder that life itself is impermanent and unpredictable. Instead of resisting change, we are encouraged to approach it with openness and curiosity. This mindset allows us to adapt gracefully, finding calm even when the path ahead seems unclear. Imagine a life where every unexpected turn isn't met with fear or anxiety but with a sense of wonder and readiness to learn. When we accept uncertainty as a natural part of our journey, we free ourselves from the need to control every outcome. Instead, we can move forward with a calm mind and an open heart, trusting that each challenge has something valuable to teach us. Embracing uncertainty becomes a pathway to inner peace, helping us navigate life's surprises with grace and patience. Example story: a blessing in disguise. Let me share a personal story about a time when an unexpected change turned out to be a blessing. A few years ago, I faced a sudden job change. Initially, I felt overwhelmed and worried about the future, uncertain of where I would go next. But as I took a step back, I realized that this change could be an opportunity to explore paths I hadn't considered. I decided to pursue a project I had always been passionate about but had never found the time for. Looking back now, that unexpected change was one of the best things that ever happened to me. It pushed me out of my comfort zone and led me to a more fulfilling direction. This experience taught me that sometimes, the things we fear most are actually opportunities in disguise. Embracing this uncertainty allowed me to grow, to discover new strengths, and to trust in life's unfolding process. View a challenge, approaching the unknown with curiosity. I invite you to view the unknown not as something to fear, but as an opportunity to learn and grow. The next time you're faced with uncertainty, try to approach it with curiosity. Ask yourself, what can this teach me? How might this experience help me grow? By shifting our perspective, we transform fear into openness, finding strength in the very moments that seem most unpredictable. Remember, life's twists and turns are part of a journey that's uniquely yours. Each moment of uncertainty holds a lesson, a chance to become more resilient, compassionate, and wise. Embrace it, trust in the process, and let each experience, both planned and unplanned, guide you towards a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. Finding strength and lessons in difficult times. Have you ever looked back on a difficult time in your life and realized it taught you something profound? Challenges can feel overwhelming in the moment, but they often reveal strengths we didn't know we had. In Buddhism, there's a beautiful teaching that sees adversity not as a setback but as a necessary part of our journey, a chance to grow, to become resilient, and to discover depths of compassion and understanding within ourselves. Imagine that every challenge, every struggle, is like a storm that shapes the landscape of who we are. We might be bent by the winds, but it's within these trials that our roots grow deeper, anchoring us with strength we might never have known otherwise. Embracing this perspective allows us to see that life's toughest moments are also our greatest teachers, guiding us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our potential. This mindset doesn't make hardship easy, but it does remind us that even in our darkest moments, there is light to be found. Example story: a personal journey through adversity. I want to share a personal story of a time when life's challenges pushed me to my limits and ultimately transformed me. A few years ago, I faced a major setback that shook my confidence. I felt lost, overwhelmed, and unsure of how to move forward. Every day seemed like a struggle, and I questioned whether I had the strength to overcome this period. But over time, as I navigated through the hardship, I began to see things differently. Slowly, I realized that this challenge was teaching me resilience, patience, and the power of self-compassion. The experience helped me understand that strength isn't about being unbreakable, it's about having the courage to keep going, even when everything feels uncertain. It deepened my empathy for others going through difficult times, knowing firsthand the courage it takes to face adversity. Today, I look back on that time with gratitude, realizing that those struggles have made me who I am, instilling a sense of strength I carry with me in every new challenge. Reflection prompt: embracing your own lessons from hardship. I invite you to take a moment to reflect on your own experiences with hardship. Think back to a challenge that tested you, a moment when you felt uncertain or afraid. What did you learn from that experience? How did it change you? And what strengths did it reveal within you? Difficult times aren't easy, but they hold the potential to shape us in powerful ways. By reflecting on these moments, we begin to see them not as mere obstacles, but as essential parts of our journey, helping us grow wiser, more resilient, and more compassionate. Let's embrace life's challenges as opportunities to discover our true strength, to deepen our understanding, and to build a life rooted in resilience and empathy. Each difficult moment, in its own way, is helping us become the person we're meant to be, building harmonious and fulfilling relationships. Have you ever wondered what it truly takes to build a relationship that brings lasting joy and harmony? In a world full of distractions and constant pressures, finding balance in our relationships can feel challenging. But at the core of every fulfilling relationship are four essential qualities: empathy, clear communication, patience, and gratitude. When we bring these qualities into our interactions, we create connections that are not only stronger but also deeply meaningful and supportive. Imagine each relationship as a melody, a unique song created by shared moments and mutual understanding. Empathy allows us to feel the emotions of the other person, while clear communication ensures that we express ourselves openly and honestly. Patience helps us navigate through misunderstandings and difficult times, and gratitude reminds us to appreciate each person's presence in our lives. Together, these qualities create a harmonious song that makes each relationship a fulfilling and enriching part of our lives. Example story: a relationship strengthened by empathy and communication. Let me share a personal story about a relationship that became more meaningful through small acts of empathy and open communication. I had a close friend with whom I occasionally had misunderstandings. Often, we'd find ourselves caught up in our own perspectives, which sometimes led to frustration and hurt feelings. One day, after a particularly difficult conversation, I decided to approach things differently. Instead of focusing on being understood, I chose to listen more deeply, to hear my friend's emotions and viewpoints without judgment or defensiveness. As I listened, I began to understand the underlying emotions driving their words. By acknowledging their feelings and expressing my own thoughts openly, we were able to connect on a deeper level. Through this practice, our relationship gradually grew more trusting and open. What started as a small change in how we communicated transformed our friendship into one built on understanding and respect. It reminded me of how powerful empathy and clear communication can be in creating a sense of harmony. Practical tips for building harmonious relationships. Here are a few simple practices that can bring empathy, communication, patience, and gratitude into your relationships. Practice active listening. When someone is speaking, try to listen without interrupting or planning your response. Focus on their words, body language, and tone. Active listening shows that you value what they have to say and creates a foundation of mutual respect. Express yourself clearly and honestly. Communicate your feelings and thoughts openly, but with kindness. Clear communication helps prevent misunderstandings and ensures that both people feel heard and valued. Cultivate patience. Not every interaction will be perfect, and conflicts will arise. In these moments, practice patience by giving the other person space to express themselves fully before responding. Patience helps us remain calm, allowing us to work through difficulties with understanding and respect. Show appreciation regularly, don't wait for big moments to express gratitude. Even a simple thank you or a kind word can remind the other person of how much you value their presence in your life. Gratitude strengthens the bond and adds warmth to your interactions. Empathize with their perspective. Take a moment to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Try to see the situation from their point of view. Even if you don't agree, this empathy helps create a sense of connection and reminds both of you that the relationship is a shared journey. These practices might seem small, but they have the power to create lasting harmony and fulfillment in any relationship. Building a connection based on empathy, clear communication, patience, and gratitude transforms even the simplest interactions into meaningful exchanges. Takeaway: embracing relationships as opportunities for growth and harmony. Each relationship in our lives offers a unique opportunity to practice kindness, patience, and empathy. By approaching our interactions with these qualities, we create a harmonious song that resonates deeply, enriching both our lives and the lives of those we connect with. Remember, building a fulfilling relationship is a journey that requires intention and care. Let's embrace each relationship as an opportunity to bring a little more understanding, compassion, and gratitude into the world. As we move forward, may we see each person as a partner in this shared journey, contributing to a life filled with harmonious and meaningful connections. As we come to the end of this journey, let's take a moment to reflect on the insights we've uncovered together. Throughout our discussion, we've explored how relationships and experiences are not just events that happen to us. They are integral parts of our personal journey and growth. Each connection, each interaction, and each moment, whether joyful or challenging, shapes us in profound ways. By embracing each of these moments as opportunities, we open ourselves to a deeper understanding of who we are and who we have the potential to be. Let's revisit some of the core ideas we've discussed. Understanding that these are more than just concepts, they are tools that can transform the way we live. Embracing every interaction as a lesson. One of the main themes we've explored is that every relationship, every encounter, is an opportunity for growth. Often, it's the people in our lives who reflect back to us our own strengths and vulnerabilities, giving us a clearer view of ourselves. Relationships act as mirrors, showing us aspects of our character that we might overlook or suppress. When we view each relationship this way, we're able to appreciate both the highs and the lows as parts of a journey. Think of each interaction as a small lesson, a way to cultivate empathy, practice patience, and strengthen resilience. Even a fleeting interaction with a stranger can leave us with insights that deepen our understanding of ourselves or broaden our perspective. By approaching each relationship with an open mind and a willingness to learn, we turn daily life into a rich tapestry of growth and sale. The role of empathy and clear communication in building harmony. Harmony in relationships isn't something that just happens, it requires conscious effort. Empathy and clear communication are two of the most powerful ways to create that harmony. Empathy allows us to truly connect with others by understanding their experiences and feelings, bridging gaps in understanding and fostering closeness. When we practice empathy, we aren't just listening to respond, we're listening to understand. Clear communication, on the other hand, allows us to express our thoughts, needs, and boundaries in an honest but kind way. It prevents misunderstandings and builds trust, ensuring that both parties feel respected and valued. When we bring empathy and clarity into our interactions, we create a safe space for others to be their true selves. And this, in turn, enriches the connection we share. Together, empathy and clear communication lay the foundation for fulfilling relationships that nurture both our own growth and the growth of those. Patience and forgiveness, keys to navigating conflict. Conflict is an inevitable part of any relationship. However, how we choose to respond to these conflicts can either strengthen or weaken our bonds. Patience allows us to pause, giving ourselves and the other person the time to express emotions fully and work through misunderstandings. Practicing patience teaches us to approach conflict with a calm and open heart, fostering an environment where differences can be resolved with mutual respect. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is an act of letting go. By forgiving others, we free ourselves from the burden of resentment and open the door to healing. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing hurtful actions. Rather, it's a choice to release ourselves from the pain of the past and allow for growth in the present. When we approach conflicts with patience and forgiveness, we create relationships that are resilient, compassionate, and strong enough to withstand life's inevitable challenges. The power of gratitude in relationships. Gratitude transforms how we view our relationships, helping us to recognize and appreciate the positive impact others have on our lives. When we cultivate gratitude, we begin to see each person in our life as a gift, each interaction as an opportunity, and each shared moment as a blessing. Simple acts of appreciation, whether it's a sincere thank you, a kind word, or a gesture of thoughtfulness, strengthen our bonds and remind us of the joy that comes from meaningful. Gratitude also encourages us to cherish the present, focusing on what we have rather than what we lack. This shift in perspective not only enhances our relationships but also brings us greater happiness and fulfillment. By expressing gratitude regularly, we build a positive environment where love, respect, and kindness flourish, making our viewing life as a continuous journey of growth. At the heart of all these insights is the idea that life itself is a journey of continuous growth. Each person we meet and every experience we encounter contributes to our personal evolution. When we approach life with a mindset of learning and openness, we transform our struggles into strengths, our challenges into wisdom, and our connections into sources of joy. By viewing life this way, we can accept both the highs and lows as essential parts of our journey. Instead of fearing the unknown or resisting change, we embrace each moment as an opportunity to grow, trusting that every experience brings us closer to becoming our best selves. This approach allows us to find beauty in every stage of life, to value each lesson, and to carry forward the wisdom